Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Dream Career Talk Show. Dream Career Talk Show is about building your dream career, which is much beyond getting a job. Here, as you know, on this show, we are going to bring different industry experts coming from various domains who will be sharing their knowledge, their experience, their challenges, their failures, and success so that it can help others to build their dream careers. Now, today's topic is very interesting, and this career is where many people are not very clear about what happens in this. How do you get there? How do you actually build your career in that particular stream? What is it all about? It's about merchant navy. How do you actually get into merchant navy? What are the entry criteria? What kind of educational qualification do you need to go through? How is it related with marine engineering? Right? What are the different departments in a ship? What is the role and what are the responsibilities of somebody who is into this particular job? To understand more about this particular interesting job profile and also the career, we have our guest Ankit Gupta, who comes with great experience in this particular field. Ankit has traveled over 50 countries. He is an upcoming author and also a cricket enthusiast who loves traveling to new places and meeting new people. Ankit, very excited to have you on this show. Welcome to Dream Career Talk Show.
Thanks a lot, Fatah. I really want to convey my gratitude to you for inviting me to the show, and thanks a lot.
Nice to have you here. And this is one career, Ankit, which I believe a lot of people don't have much clarity. And I think this is one career which is also like a niche, which, when chosen, it gives a good career path, especially for people who want to travel and all. And
Yeah,
if I go back to my engineering days, I was not very clear what is it, and still I see a lot of people struggling in that area. So I'm very happy to have you here, so that a lot of people get
thank
the
you.
clarity and they can build dream careers in this particular domain.
Thanks, Fatah. Sure.
Great. So let's first start with your career journey. How did you get into this career? What did you do to get into this career, and how you have been sailing through your boat and enjoying this particular career for so many years?
Yeah, yes, thanks, Fatah. And I would be privileged to share my journey in the Merchant Navy for almost 10 years now. So, yeah, after class 12th, I joined in marine engineering, and I would say that it was mostly by chance because suddenly one day when I was in the 12th standard, my father came across an advertisement in the newspaper because that time the internet usage was not as what we have in these days. We had to go to cafes and all to look for the searches in Google and everything. So newspaper was the source, one source where most of the ads for merchant navy and all the careers were usually turned up. And my father, one day he was just going across the newspaper and found one advertisement that join merchant navy and travel across the world, and it's a completely different career uh, comparatively to the basic ones which are like normal engineering and medical background, which parents tend to recommend. But merchant navy was something which was different for our family as well, because in my family there was nobody who has served in merchant navy before. My elder sisters, they also did engineering, but from the this normal engineering branches which are available. So he found it excited, and he shared it with me that would you like to join the merchant navy? And after seeing that, I also got little excited and thought, yeah, well, better to try it, and let's go for it after completing the 12th. And because my marks were also there, which qualifies me for the admission directly into the Marine Institute. So I got admission in one of the privileged institutes of India, which is BITS Pilani, and did my 4 years of marine engineering. And this is how I started in merchant navy. And the 4 years is like a completely different experience while doing the graduation course in the academy, because the lifestyle there and is completely different from any normal graduation, because we have to get up early in the morning There will be PT, parade, and there is a fixed routine which we have to follow on day-to-day basis. So it's more like a education plus discipline plus a lifestyle. So it's a combination of all. So just not learning, but it completely builds a character out of a person. So yeah, that's how it started, I would say, the journey. And gradually then I progressed, joining the ship and then sailing through various ships, mostly sailed on oil tanker vessels throughout my career. And now I have after almost 8 years of sailing experience, then I came to shore in 2020 when the covid started. I decided to switch to the land. And then for the last 2 years now, I'm working on shore and currently working with a shipping company in London. So
Wow.
that's
Amazing
the
journey so
journey.
far. Right, so that's great. Now, Ankit, you mentioned about you entered into merchant navy after doing your marine engineering, right? So this is
Yes,
more like a 4 years engineering course, just like any other computer engineering, electrical engineering, right?
yes.
Is there any other path that people can take if they're not able to do that 4 years of marine engineering? Is there any other alternative path to get into merchant navy?
Yeah, so marine engineering is basically it complies with one department of the merchant navy, which is the engine department. So in total, there are three departments with two major departments on a ship. So one is the engine department, which for which you need to do the marine engineering to get to the engine department, and then there is the deck department for which one must be doing a nautical science course. So some people call it nautical science, some call it nautical technology as well. And in that course, it people after their class 12th, there are two routes. One is that they can do a 1 year course which is called as DNS, Diploma in Nautical Science. And after doing that course, one can join as a deck cadet and proceed with the ranking path in the deck department. And the other way is that there are also 3 years courses available for the nautical sciences. The only difference is that the person who is doing the 3 years course, before going to the next rank, his tenure of sailing is reduced. So suppose some person is doing 1 year course, he has to sail for longer time to get promoted to the another rank. And some person who is doing a 3 years course, he has to sail for a lesser time and give less exams to actually get promoted to different rank. So this is the pathway to go into marine engineering for engine side and nautical science for the deck side. Apart from that, there are also people who don't want to join at the officer rank. Basically, these ranks go through the officer line, which I have told previously. Now, there are also ratings on the ship on both the departments who basically assist the officers and uh, assist in various tasks which are performed on board. And their role is also very critical on board the ships. So for that, they can go through a 6 months training, which is for 6 months training in the institute. And after that, they can join as the course is called as a GP rating course, and they can join as a rating in any of the department of their choice. It can be either tech department or engine department. And there are some people who belong to a galley department, which I told is the third department on ship, and they belong to the department of cooking. So people who are fond of cooking and want to choose the career path in cooking on board the ships, so they can choose to do a either a 6 month course or a 3 years course in maritime cooking. So through that pathway, they can go and become a chief cook on board, and yeah, they can follow that path as well. So these
Great.
are the three routes basically.
And you were mentioning about another alternative route when we were talking offline was when people have done mechanical engineering. So how do they get into like marine engineering? You said it's connected, right?
Yeah. So that is one pathway where if somebody is not clear after class 12 that they want to join into marine or shipping field, and they have joined mechanical background, and later on they realize that they have a keen interest to join the merchant navy, then there is a separate pathway for which is called as a GME course. So after completing their graduation in mechanical engineering, they can actually do a 1 year course in GME, which is Graduate Marine Engineering, and again join the ship as a marine engineer. So it will take them 1 year extra, but yeah, it is also a part to join the shipping field.
Okay, so basically, when we are doing this 1 year course, that means mechanical and marine engineering, lot of topics or the subjects would be still the same in the engineering for at least a couple of years, right?
Yeah, so like initial first year is completely same, I would say, the mechanical and the marine. Second year there are some changes in subjects, and third year and fourth year are specific to the marine field. So what happens is that the people who have done the mechanical engineering, they have a basic foundation, uh, it's which is common for the marine field. So the last final year subjects are actually they are being compact, and their this 1 year period is made like a way that they could cover the entire 2 years duration of marine engineering into that particular 1 year, and it creates a separate pathway for them to join the shipping field. Yeah.
That's an interesting option to know about. And what about if somebody has done electrical, electronics engineering, or computer engineering? Do they still have this option or no?
For electrical engineering people, they have an option to join as an electrotechnical officer on board the ships. So, some ships still have the electrotechnical officers, but some companies are not having that rank now because with the advancement in technology, the number of people on board are also getting reduced. Like, so companies are keen on reducing the number of people on board. But yeah, there was a pathway for those who have done electrical engineering, and then they would do a short course in the marine electrical technology and then join a ship as an electrical officer. But unfortunately for the people who have done in electronics and computer science or any other engineering field, they don't have an option to join marine engineering.
All right. So, and how many years you have spent in marine engineering? Like I mean, in terms of the merchant navy in this particular career.
So I have started with my first ship. I have joined in 2012. I completed my marine engineering in 2011, and then there was recruitment process and all those things, searching for a company. And 2012, actually, I got to join my first ship, and after that, I have sailed for almost 8 years. And in 2020, early 2020 was the my last ship when I signed off from my last ship, and then I switched to shore based job. Yeah.
Wow, eight years is like a long time when you have been sailing, right, on the ships. Now, you also mentioned, I think you have traveled multiple countries. So, how many countries have you covered till now, sailing on the ships?
Yeah, I've already covered more than 50 countries. so,
Wow,
so it's been quite a journey, I would say. Like merchant navy is one field which has actually given me the opportunity to travel those many countries, and yeah, so it was a nice experience to know culture and explore people and places of around the world. So it was a I was fond of traveling basically, and traveling was one of the reasons why I joined the merchant navy in the very first place. So it got me the excitement phase, which I told after seeing the ad. So one of the reasons was that yeah, I would get to travel so many places.
great, great. I think that really, I think, is coming again from your passion to travel and passion for marine, in terms of merchant navy. Like you were showing certain pictures when we were discussing offline. Can we see some? Because I'm excited to see them. The career in merchant navy, how you got started, and
Sure,
all of that.
sure, sure. So please let me know if you can see my desktop.
Yes, yes, we can see your desktop.
Yeah, so for the easier way, I have actually split down into four folders so that it will be clear for the audience. So I would start with the Marine Academy.
Hmm.
So as I've told you that it was not just the education, but also a complete this aspect of life, the lifestyle. So this is one of the picture from my institute where you can see they have formed a complete entire structure of a ship. So
Oh,
basically, this was the place where we would do our internship, the last semester of our training. And you can see all of us in this PT uniform. So our
right.
morning used to start with this, that 4 years we have been doing the PT and parades. And so that our physical fitness plays a very critical role in marine engineering or in joining merchant navy in any of the departments. So uh, we had to follow this on a regular basis. Then this is one of my pictures from the institute where I am in the complete uniform, doing just came after doing a parade. So
Awesome.
and this was the picture which was taken on the passing out day. So it is called as POP, the passing out parade. So what
Wow.
happens is that yeah, so what happens is that after we completed our training course, so we would just took our caps and fly them, throw them in the air and celebrate to enjoy our this successfully completing the marine course. So that is one of the moment to cherish for, and we look forward to this moment almost during the entire course. So basically it was one of those cherished moments, I would say.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I would also like to show you some of the pictures of the ships that I have sailed upon. So
Of
this was
course.
my very first ship.
Can you
Lucky
can
me.
you enlarge this? And also there is a notification. Maybe you can hide that so that we can
Okay,
see the
okay.
complete picture. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Hmm.
So yeah. So this was a bulk carrier ship. So used to carry coal, and yeah, it was an amazing experience to joining the ship for the very first time. So it was a completely different experience, be in the waters all over. So yeah,
This was your
this
first
was
one, or what was this like?
yeah, this was my first ship, which I joined in 2012.
And this was carrying coal, is it?
Yeah, it was carrying coal previously, but actually it was a scrap ship. So the voyage we did was the last voyage for the vessel. So actually
Okay.
we took the vessel to scrap it.
And which country was this? Like you were traveling from which place to the other?
Taiwan. So we have boarded the ship from Taiwan, and then we came to Mumbai, from Taiwan to Mumbai.
And how many days was it typically?
So we had a few stops in between, like we had a stoppage at Hong Kong, then we took the bunkers at Singapore. So
Hmm.
it took almost 1 month for us to be there because for scrapping a vessel, there needs to be a requirement of high tides. So we were at anchorage in Mumbai for almost 10 to 15 days, and it took almost 1 month on this vessel for us.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that, from bulk carrier, I started to sail on the tanker vessels. So these are the big tanker ships which carries oil. So it can be petrol, diesel, jet oil, crude
You can
oil. So
enlarge this one as well. I am very excited to see these images.
okay, okay, sure. You can see it clearly now.
Yes, yes. Perfect.
Okay, okay. So this was my very first tanker ship. Then after that, I continued sailing on tankers. So most of my career, my journey is being sailing on tanker ships.
Okay. These are all oil
Yeah,
tankers, right?
yeah, oil tankers.
Hmm.
And these are the ships which actually took me to all those countries.
Wow.
Yeah. This is Justice Victoria. It was the biggest ship that I have sailed upon. So its length is 328 meters. So this was the biggest of all the ships that I have sailed upon till now.
How much? 320 meters.
328 meters long. Yeah.
328 meters. Mhm.
And yeah, this was the last ship that I have sailed upon. So a few of those ships I have sailed upon two times as well. That I've joined the same ship two times. So these are all the ships.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll again come
Yes.
back to
Yeah. Yeah.
sharing.
So
Right.
so
This is good. Good to see all those images, ships, the journey that you started. And now here, you showed about one of the prototypes that was created for you during the trainings, right? So during the 4 years, how much is the theoretical knowledge that you acquire, and how much is the practicals that you acquire, and how do you actually learn about the ship? Is it just the prototype, or you still go as an intern in the ship? How is that? How does that happen?
yeah, so it's a mix, I would say. It's a mix of both theoretical and practical things. The theoretical part initially in the starting couple of years, it will be more of the theoretical things because we are learning all the things for the very first time. And as we progress upon the next years, the more practical part is introduced into the syllabus because then we will get a hands-on experience to actually share with people. So we have done some workshops in the second and third year. There are some workshops that uh, we have to attend, and then we have to perform like on lathe machine, hydraulic test, electrical automation test. So marine engineering is something where you have the some concepts from each and everything. Like it has got electrical components as well, it has got hydraulic components as well. So it's a mixture of all. So but why it is marine? Because it has been created in a way that it becomes specific for a person to sail on board the ships. So different workshops will be there during the syllabus, and the final semester would be actually a complete 6 months practical internships. So that the ship structure that I've showed you in the one of the pictures. So that is where we have completed the complete 6 months internship, which is the final semester. So yeah, it's a mix of both theoretical and practical.
Nice. And typically, like, because when you're showing these images, I could not see you or your crew, anybody on the ship here. So, how
Yeah.
many people are there in these ships? Like, you have mostly worked with the oil tankers. Like, what is the crew size, and who are there in this particular crew? Can you maybe like elaborate on that?
Yeah. So, what has happened in the shipping industry is that in the previous times, if I go back to 20, 25 years back, there used to be around 40 to 50 people on one particular ship. But with the advancement of technology and so many new developments taking place in the shipping industry, the number has been reducing over the period of years. And now, typically, on board a tanker ship or in any kind of ship, I would say the number is around 20. So it will vary from like 17, 18 on some ships, or some ships will have like 22 to 23 people. But 20 is a number I could say that, yeah, the number of people on board a particular ship.
And how is this like distributed? Are there different departments, and how are these departments distributed?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, so there are three main departments, which is the engine department, the deck department, and the galley department. So typically in an engine department, there will be 7 to 8 people, which will comprise of like 5 engineers and 3 ratings. And then there is a deck department which will comprise of around 10 people. So 10 people will be like 5 officers and 5 ratings. And the the remaining 2 people are the ones who are in the galley department. So one will be the chief cook, and the one person will be the assisting messman. So he will be assisting the chief cook. So yeah, in total there will be around 20 people.
Okay, so let's start with the cook now here, because we're talking about the food. So yes, of course, because you are traveling for long distances, so cook is there. So how is the cook actually selected? Is it somebody who's come with the hotel management experience, or how does the cook actually come into the play in this merchant navy or in the ships?
So there are some people who have done hotel management and then switched to marine industry and became cooks. But it's not necessary. It's not a mandatory requirement to be there in the hotel management course or something, there is separate course for the uh, people who would like to do cooking on board the ships. So there are some 6 months course like that, again a kind of diploma for the cooks to be working on the ships. And there is a complete 3 years BSc in this marine cooking. So they can either do the 6 months course or the 3 years course, and based on that, and if they have some like past experience as well cooking, so a test will be conducted based on various considerations and experience, and then a particular person can actually become a cook on board the ships. So they have a complete different pathway, I would say.
All right. And what all is available for you? Like food, is it a challenge when you are actually traveling from for long? Because you said it takes a month, sometimes 2 months, 3 months, right? The journey. So what kind of food is available to you on the ship, right? And how is it stored and all of this? Like you can talk about it, and also if you have any images, we can quickly glance through them as well.
Yeah, sure. So, like for food, I would say that it depends, like from ship to ship and from the persons who are there on the ship, like which nationality people are there. So, in merchant navy, it's not typically that all the people should be Indian or all the people should be from one nationality. I have sailed on vessels where are like people from 3 or 4 different nationalities are working together. So now in that case, everybody has their own food habits, right?
Right.
So it entirely comes down to the chief cook, like what all food he is going to prepare, and for different nationalities, based on their expectations, there will be a complete list which is created just before when the vessel is like sailing out from a port. And if it is possible for a vessel to like get the food delivered on one particular port, so it is ordered, all the food materials and items are ordered in advance, so that when the ship is there on the port, the all the food storage is collected, and there are separate rooms, like there will be a separate room for storing all the vegetables, separate room for storing all the meat items, because they are stored at different temperatures. We can't just keep everything at the same room temperature, otherwise it will get spoiled. So different chambers are there, and based on that, they are stored on those chambers, and then what are items are being ordered, based on that we will come to know later on during our voyage that what the chief cook is preparing and what we are going to get. But
Interesting.
yeah. Mostly, I would say that I have never faced any limitations on food, so it was always available, and it was always like mostly I would say it was my luck that I got good chief cooks throughout my sailing career. So food was never a problem for me. Yeah.
And especially, I believe fish would be like available for free for you people, right? You can anytime pick up a fish and start eating. For fish lovers, it would be great.
Yeah. So when the vessel is at anchor, like we have covered a voyage and now we have to go to a port, but port is not free, so we would anchor for some time. And if there are no fishing restrictions, because some ports have specific shipping fishing restrictions as well. But if there are no restrictions, yeah, definitely it's a very good time to catch the fish and eat the fresh fish, basically, not the frozen ones.
Right. Yeah. And since we have been talking about the port as well, now you and there are other people also on this particular crew. So how does it typically happen when, say, for example, you have landed in Amsterdam or someplace, right? That's not the exact destination. So you still get to travel and all of that, those places.
Yes. So what happens is that whenever a ship reaches a particular port, now it depends on the cargo, and the port also has a capacity to like load and unload the cargo, right? So based on that, a time is calculated, like for how many hours the ship is going to stay at that particular port. And we would get to know like whether, suppose it has happened that we have arrived at some port in the morning, and because the port facility is so fast and the cargo we are carrying is also not that much that it would take a long time, then we would be maybe probably leaving the port in the same day itself. But there has been times when we are staying at a particular port for almost 3 to 4 days, and now
Mhm.
that's the best part, because that is the time when we would get a chance to actually go out and visit the city and explore the place. So so basically it entirely comes down to the number of days we are staying at a particular port.
Right. And one curious question I have here is what about visa? When you are actually traveling through the ship, you still need to have the visa for those different countries. Like, example, you are traveling from here to a different country. In between, you are going through Singapore. So, for this also, you go through a visa process.
No, no. So for a seafarer, there is a separate document which is called as CDC. I will share the pic as well. So that document itself states that, okay, so this person is a seafarer, so he doesn't need a visa to be there in those places when he has come through the seaway. And if we are joining a ship from some port, like if I have to travel by flight and then join a ship from, suppose, Amsterdam, if you can take the example of Amsterdam, then for just the purpose of joining, I would need a visa, Schengen visa, at the very first time. But once I have joined the ship, and after that, for my duration over the ship, I would not need any visa to visit any country.
Okay. So, here, no passport, no visa on the ship.
No, no, not required.
Okay. So maybe we can have a glance about whatever the cook and the food, the storage and all, if you have any picks, and we'll go to the next set of people or the next group of people on the crew.
Sure. So I would like to share some of the pics of the working condition and like the engine room. Mostly not taken any pic of the chief cook food and all, but because it's mostly stored. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but I would definitely be sharing some of the pics from on board the ship and how it is like the life on board. And yeah, so I would show you the passage first. So this is normally a passage on a ship, that these are the rooms. So this is normally passage, and if you see, can this door, it is a fireproof door, and it is an exit door, so we can go out to the this alleyway. And this is one of my picks from the engine room. So the engine room is a structure which is under the water level, and all the machineries are there in the engine room. So we basically marine engineers, their main role and responsibility is to actually take care of all these machineries, and various engineers have their own responsibility of their own machineries. But at the end, it all comes down to working in a team together. And this is a control panel in the engine room, from where the actually all the parameters are monitored. So like for the various machineries, there will be different parameters in terms of temperature, pressure, and their viscosity and all those things. These all are monitored from here, and even the telegraph operations of the ship.
Okay, just hold on here because I had
Yeah,
one quick question.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
who
sure.
does this kind of role? Like, is it again coming from the engine room people, whoever is responsible, or is it like a technical guy? What is the
Yeah,
who
so
does?
it's the engine room people are basically the ones who are the technical people. So the marine engineers are the people who are actually looking after all these things, all the parameters they have to monitor. And based on that, yeah, so different action steps are there. Like for each and every machinery, there are different action steps. So monitoring of parameters is like a basic keeping a safety round of the machinery, and taking all the notes.
Nice, nice one. Okay, we can proceed.
Yeah. And yeah, so I have intentionally put down this picture because one thing I wanted to show is that I- when working in an engine room, so you can see the condition of my boiler suit, right? So it's quite
Yeah.
dirty. So
Hmm.
that is one thing that people who want to join as a marine engineer, because now when somebody is wanting to join a merchant navy, so they can actually choose a pathway between marine engineering and a deck department, right? So
Hmm.
if you are choosing to become a marine engineer, then you should not be concerned about the hygiene and cleanliness, because when working in a engine room, so machineries will be there, and it is not possible to be entirely clean. You have to get dirty. So if somebody is comfortable being getting dirty and working in high humid temperature is also very high in the engine room, so
Mhm.
in that case that person should go ahead with this thing.
Yeah, but they should
Otherwise,
have that passion for, I think, machinery and all of that, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
how it is.
exactly, exactly. Because if somebody just joins and then later on find out that okay, I have to get dirty, my clothes will get dirty, then it's not for them, I would say.
Yeah, I think this is good knowledge you are sharing, because very important for people to understand what happens in the deck, right, and
Mhm.
what happens when you are in the engine room, like two different departments. This is
Yeah.
good.
So see here in this picture, you can see that my boiler suit is clean, but I have put this picture especially because of the see. I have entered the engine room from the top. The engine is there below side. You can see the engine is there, and
Hmm.
you can see the sweat on my head, right? So
Right.
engine room is quite hot. So temperature is high in engine room. So you have to be accompanied with the high temperature working conditions. And now there are many pros as well, apart from working. You were telling about the food, so I would like to share some pictures of the food here.
Wow. This looks like
So
a party.
yeah, so this is how a party is there on board. So when there is any festival like Christmas or New Year or something, uh, the complete party mood will be there, and we will have all party together. And here you can see that people from different nationalities are there. So
Right.
one guy is Filipino, and this Russian guy
Hmm.
is there. So and Indians are there, and Pakistani people are also there. So we all work together in a team.
Great. And you people invite others also from outside for party like us who can join you.
No, this party is actually while we are on a voyage. So we
Right.
are in the middle of the sea here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Your
party
life
is going.
basically is in that sea, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
when you are on the job. Yes.
And see, even the birthdays are celebrated. So this is
Wow.
I am cutting the birthday cake. It's my birthday celebrated on board.
Nice, nice to see this.
And yeah, this is one of the ships I signed off from Japan. So Justice Victoria, I showed you, na? This the same Justice Victoria.
They have this interesting names on the ships as well. I
Yeah,
love them. Yeah.
yeah. So this is one of the pictures of the bridge. I will show you one another picture as well. So on the bridge is the where the ship's navigation takes place, and the deck people, it's their working place. Mostly the deck officers, I would say. So this is the place from where the navigation of the ship takes place. So all the course and direction and everything is being set from here. So they have actually a white collar job. So they don't need to get dirty as engineers. That is one thing. And this is the complete view of the ship from the
Wow.
bridge. So this was the ship I was sailing on. So it's a oil tanker vessel. It's a huge tanker vessel.
Amazing.
Yeah. And again, this is one of the pictures of the engine room. So yeah, this is the bottommost platform, and I have added this picture to show you that the entire sides, like these are the bulkheads. Bulkheads are basically the walls of the ship, the bottommost platform, and it is completely surrounded by water. So we are underwater here in this picture.
Mm.
And yeah, we get to see some very amazing views while sailing. So that's one of the perks that we get such beautiful sights. Yeah,
Right.
like this.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. This was this photo. Yeah, this photo is from the Karachi port. So I was there at Karachi port for almost 1 month. So beside backside, you can see the Karachi port is there. And yeah, this is how an engine room looks like. So yeah, I will zoom this picture a bit. So if you could enter, so it has got multiple platforms, and various machineries are placed on various platforms. So now these three on top are the generators. The middle one is the main engine, and likewise all the machineries are like at various places all over the engine room. So
This is really amazing, and all of it. This is the part of the ship which is inside the water, right? The engine
yeah,
and
yeah,
all of
yeah,
it that you're showing.
yeah. This is all inside the water. Yeah, that's correct. And this is the common area which we will gather together, watch a movie. There will be a TV here, and people can watch the movies together and have some fun time together sitting. Because on ship, it's a lonely life, so it's very good to be people around us. Otherwise, it's quite lonely, right? And this photo I have shared because it's a live boat and we are just performing a drill, so that this is our safety boat basically.
Mhm.
So every ship has got two live boats like this. So in case of any emergency, or if the ship has got in a condition to abandon, then in that case we could use this live boat to actually escape from the ship. So we
And
perform this.
how many people does it accommodate?
The entire ship crew. It has the capacity to. So based on the entire every ship, it is being designed in a way that all the crew can be accommodated in it. It has got
Okay,
100% capacity.
great.
So yeah, so you can see it's 2014 picture, and this is me at the corner. So we have just performed a live boat drill here. So we have to undergo these various drills from time to time to assure that we are in a safe ship, and say we are maintaining the safety conditions. Yeah. And yeah, this picture is the last picture of my ship. Like I signed off from this vessel, the very last ship, in 2020. So this picture is very close to me because this was the last time when I was on board, the last day, and I am just signing off here.
Great, really nice, and these are beautiful pics.
Yeah,
And now let's talk about. Can stop sharing. Yes, and then
yeah,
yeah. So let's talk about the engine room and the people, the role that you people perform. Right now, you said there is one the deck. We'll come
yeah.
to that, right? But the role of people who are like under the water, right? All the engines and all of this show you showed. So, what is the role of these people like you and others, right? And typically, how do you also grow in your careers? What are the different levels to grow?
Yeah. So for this, I would like to show you a separate image. It will give a clear understanding. So I would just share my screen. So just so yeah. So this is the rank chart basically. If
Can you
it
full
is
screen this? There is an option to full screen. You can do that. Yeah, yeah. You can maybe like still expand. Yeah, this is good.
okay. So this is the rank way, matlab pathway for any department. So it is differentiated into two departments and the three departments which I have told you. So first one here you can see the engine side. Now it starts when somebody has completed the marine engineering. So the very first time he will join the ship as an engine cadet. Okay, and then the every single rank has got different set of responsibilities on board. So the person who is joining as an engine cadet definitely is the person who is the on ship for the very first time. So the main thing he has to do is to familiarize himself with the various different parts of the ship and safety equipments of the ship. And by the time he will come to know about various things and how to operate. So the engine department basically it is responsible for the maintenance, operation, and repair of the various machineries on board. Now, main engine is something which is like for the propulsion of the ship, and apart from that, there are various auxiliary engines, generators, which are supplying the electricity. Now there is boiler to provide steam for heating of various tanks, and likewise there are various set of machinery. So all these engineers, as they grow up in their ranks, has actually got different set of machineries under them to which they have to take care of. And on the sides you can see that there is oiler, greaser, and junior rating. So these are the ratings which I have told. They have got a
Mhm.
complete different set of pathway to enter into merchant navy through a GP rating course. And So this is all about the engine side, and the chief engineer is here. He is the overall in charge of the this engine department.
Right.
And
And yeah, go ahead with the other segment as well.
yeah, so here is the deck side. So deck side, similarly like the engine cadet, the person who has completed his either DNS 1 year DNS course, or he has done 3 years of nautical sciences, he could actually directly join as a deck cadet on board for the very first time. And then as he proceeds towards his career, and for each rank, there is a certain period of time that person has to spend on board ship. So it's just not like that one person can just from deck cadet to third officers he can directly jump into. He has to actually sail for a certain amount of period and then have to give exam of a third mate. So when he clears that exam, then he is eligible to actually sail as a third officer. So for each rank, mostly there will be an exam, and then there will be a stipulated sailing time that one person has to cover and then grow up in the rank. So then finally, likewise, he can grow up to the chief officer level. Now at various levels, they have different responsibilities as well. Like third officer, he has the responsibility to take care of first all the deck people. They have one common responsibility, which is of navigation. That is the smooth operation of the ship in terms of this course of the ship in terms of navigation. So apart from navigation, now each officer has their own personal set of job responsibilities. Like third officer, he would take care of the safety equipments. Second officers, he has to take care of the chart work, that all the chart work that he has to create a passage plan. And then chief officer, he is mainly responsible for all the cargo operations. So likewise, at various levels, you will come up with different levels of responsibilities. But one common thing of all the people here is that they have to ensure a smooth, say, operation of the ship and ensure that ship is in a safe condition all the time. So that is one thing. And on top of that is master. Master is the captain of the ship. So he is the one person who is like who has got the overall responsibility of the ship. But basically in the technical department, chief engineer is the highest rank. So a person who is going through marine engineering, his final rank would be the chief engineer to become the overall responsible for the engine department. And for tech department, it is like master is the overall head, and chief officer basically takes care of all the junior officers and cadets, and even he is responsible for the catering department as well, which is cook and steward here. So this is just to explain about the various roles people have on board when they are sailing on board. Yeah.
This is very helpful. This really helps in terms of understanding the various roles. Right? And yeah, we can stop sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now, one question that comes to my mind is you have spoken about the deck department where there's a captain and there are people on the deck, and there is your team who is inside the water, right? Basically in the engine room and all of this. Now you are basically sailing for a long time, right? So how is this in this particular careers that you get a break? Because what I used to hear was like 6 months you sail and then 6 months you take a break. So how is this actually in terms of your breaks, and how long do you sail? How does that work?
So basically, for each rank, there are different types of contracts. So the period of time, like the duration of each contract, varies on like on which rank you are sailing on. So for ratings, mostly it's a 9 months contract. So they have to sail for at least 9 months, and then they will sign off from the vessel. And for junior officers, it's like 6 months. And if you go to like senior officer level in the top four, then your contract will be around 3 to 4 months. So basically it's a contract based job. But what happens is that after the person signs off and comes back to home, now again the company usually calls a person to ask about like whether he is willing to when he is willing to join back again and what is the availability. So some people, if they have a urgent need to sail for longer time, they can even ask the company to extend their contract while on board. So it's not necessarily that if I have gone for 6 months, I would sail for 6 months only. I could extend it to 7 or 8 months as well, if it permits. But whenever we are at home, that time again we have to decide whether how much time you are going to stay on at our home. So we can stay for shorter duration, or we can even stay for one entire year. So it completely depends on person to person.
All right. And since you are sailing for longer duration, how do you communicate with the families? Like, what is the communication method here? And also, like, since you are on the boat, right? How do you have internet access? How do you spend your time apart from the work there?
Yeah, so yeah, communication has been a big challenge in the previous time. I would say that when I started my career in 2012, there was no internet on board, and there were only two ways of communication. So one is there, each ship will have a definite satellite phone, so people can, in case of any emergency or something, or the communication with the companies, it used to happen through the satellite phones in the earlier days. So that will be always available, but uh, its charges were very high. So in terms of cost, the satellite phone charges per minute was quite high. So people generally use that phone only if they want to convey some any urgent message or any important information to their families or someone. But later on, as the time progressed and the technology has advanced, so now ships have also come up with their own internet systems. But the thing is that it has got limited data available to be used. So it's not like the unlimited data we can use in our phones right now. But yeah, definitely, companies have set up onboard internet systems. So if I would share my experience, I would use to get around I think 200 MB. 200 MB I used to get on daily basis. So I would just store that data and communicate all the important messages to my family and communicate. But previously, we used to wait for the ports to actually come, and then we will get one SIM card and then call to our loved ones. So now it's quite better. Now the connectivity problem is not that much nowadays.
Right. And how is life inside that ship? Because you're sailing for months together, basically like 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like you're not doing work all the time, right? So how do you actually, there's no internet. Internet is a challenge. I mean, you have minimal internet. What are the other ways of entertainment or being there and then spending your time in a good way?
Yeah, so there are ways like, uh, see, when the situation arises, something automatically needs to be adapted in those kind of circumstances. So, we as a sailor, we have to adapt to different circumstances, and what was available, the best thing is to make the best use of it. So on some of the ships, I have got the table tennis. So this table tennis will be there, and we could actually go and play there and spend a couple of hours in the evenings. And then mostly the gym is there on board the ship, so people can actually focus time to build their body. And yeah, so likewise, there are some things, and mostly there, I have shown you one room, right, where we can get together, sit together, and there
Right.
is a TV in place. So, by using a pen drive or DVDs, we can actually play a movie. So, watch movie together, and even there are parties, as I've shown you. So, there are couple of these are some of the ways like we could actually spend our time when we are free. And usually we will carry our laptops, so we make sure that whenever we are boarding a ship, we fill our hard drives with lots of movies so that it doesn't get boring while we are on board, and we could actually spend our times in a great way. Yeah.
Good to know that. And what about medical facilities? Like, how are they in terms of like regular medical facility? Plus, in case of emergency, what happens? Because you are sailing and you are neither in maybe India, neither in Europe, right? You might be in between somewhere. So
Yeah.
how does this happen? Like the medical facility?
So, it's a basic requirement for all the seafarers to undergo this medical safety course, the first aid course. Like there are advanced version of first aid courses. So, everybody is aware of a basic first aid requirement which a person can occur if he has got some injury or like fever or some like basic kind of medical problems. So in that case, definitely people can assist on board the ship, but there is no doctor available. So doctor is not there on board the ship, but there is a small hospital room where all the medicine and all the stuffs are being kept. So up to a stage where there is a case of any emergency or the person like is in a critical condition, then there may be a situation where we have to call for a helicopter or port assistance, like nearest port we can contact the nearest port authority, and they can actually send a helicopter or something to evacuate the person or like help the person to get away to the nearest hospital. Or else if the condition is not that serious, then maybe the person can actually visit the hospital or consult a doctor when the ship is arriving at the next port. So it is all based on various scenarios and what is the criticality of the situation at that point of time. So in some cases it is dealt with in the ship itself, and some cases it's so critical that has to be taken care of by the port authority.
Right. And what about the electricity and all? You have like all the time, or there are times when it may dark out as well. And how are that taken care?
So basically, it comes under the responsibility of the marine engineers only, and there are sets of generators on board, which we call as auxiliary engines. So they provide power to the various this supplies to the ship, the entire ship system, the lightings and all the various equipments that are driven by electricity. So it's providing supply to those, but yeah, there has been cases when blackout actually happens because the generator has tripped because of some problem or some parameter has gone wrong. And but there is a system that if any blackout happens or any power goes off, then there is also an emergency generator which will automatically come on load and take care of all the essential equipments which are for actually the safe operation of the ship. So generators are actually a critical equipment because blackout is a scenario which can actually create a hazard for ship safety. So for that reason, we have to take care of proper routine maintenance of the generators we have to carry out. But in case of blackout, then there are different procedures that we have to follow and like bring everything back to normal.
Right. And we all know that ship is the slowest mode of travel. Right
Yeah.
now, how much time like does it take, and typically what's the speed, and also what is the fuel that is used in the ship these days?
Okay. So first I would speak about the speed. So speed is something which, yeah, the ship is of course the slowest mode of transportation, I would say, between the countries, but it is effectively used because it has got a huge carrying space with it, and that is why it is the backbone of the international trade. And all the goods are like being imported exported from the shipway, and the speed is almost I would say it varies with different kinds of ships. Now for a tanker vessel where I have sailed upon, the ship is mostly around uh, 14 to 15 knots, which the nautical miles is the unit which we use on ship to determine the speed. But if we convert it into kilometers per hour, then its unit is like it is 1.872 kilometers per hour. So I would say it is around 20 to 25 in between kilometers per hour, if you can calculate. So it really takes a very long time to travel between countries, but yeah, it is the best way to transport goods.
Right.
Uh,
And what about the
yeah.
fuel? What fuel is
Yeah.
being used there?
So coming to the fuel, so the fuel also with the time, the fuels have changed with the various regulations. Now, the main fuel which typically was used earlier to run a main engine or various engines on board the ship is that heavy fuel oil. We used to call it HFO. But with the progress of time, the regulations have come because HFO, it is a kind of fuel which creates a lot of pollution. So it will release harmful gases like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide in the air, and with the passage of time, the IMO, the shipping regulations, they have become stricter, and they have modified the fuel to be in a way that it creates the least amount of pollution, and at the same time the ship could be run effectively. So currently we are using VLSFO, which is very low sulfur, this fuel oil. So the sulfur content has actually been reduced, and at some places, like in some of the countries, there has been different regulations to actually use only diesel. So though, because diesel is a clean fuel, it's not a fuel which it's not a dirty fuel, it's basically it's very clean. So in those conditions we would actually change over, so we will have diesel on board the ships, and we will also have the heavy fuel oil. But in those circumstances we have to change over from heavy fuel oil to diesel oil, and run the ship for diesel oil till the time it is in that particular country. So different kinds of fuels are used basically. And with the conventions, I believe that in the coming times there will be more advanced version of fuels which will be coming over and will be used in the shipping industry.
Yeah, there are so many changes happening, but good to know all about this nitty-gritties and also about inside the ship, how it looks, how what are the different things. Now, coming back to careers, Ankit,
Yeah.
if somebody is joining this particular industry, right? Uh, how is the pay structure? If maybe typically you give like if somebody is an entry level, how much they might be able to take home on a monthly basis, and if they are like like a chief captain, right? That's the role you said
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the engine department. Right? How much is the typical pay range?
Okay, so like one most important point which I would like to mention here is that the in merchant navy mostly the companies pay in US dollars. So until or unless it is a company which is in your own country, which is a like if we are joining in India in Indian company, then we would get paid in Indian currency and pay tax on it. But if we are joining an international company, then in that case we will our salary will be in US dollars, and we will get a tax exemption, complete tax exemption on our salary if we are spending more than 183 days, that is approximately 6 months, on ship in a particular financial year. So so I have like throughout my career I have sailed in companies which was based in Singapore. So typically if you join an international company from the merchant navy point of view, I can give a like a roundup figure which may not be appropriate for all the companies and all the people.
Right.
But
Mhm.
yeah, typically in marine merchant navy this is a common figure. So if somebody is joining as an engine cadet or like deck cadet for the very first time, then he will be getting a salary around 500 US dollars, so which will be approximately 30 to 35,000 per month. Then as he progresses in the ranks, uh, the salary automatically increases, and the junior officers, which I would say like fourth engineer, third engineer, and third officers, second officers, they would be getting around like Indian currency. I would say they will be getting around 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs per month. And as we move forward, like in the top four, like if somebody becomes a chief officer or second engineer, their salary will be approximately in a range of 6 to 7 lakhs per month. And if I go to the like the senior most level, which is chief engineer and captain, so their salary is approximately around 9 to 10 lakhs per month.
Yeah, I think that gives a fair idea for people who want to get into this career. And I think definitely this is some good money that they can also make. But yes, of course, if they are passionate about whatever they want to do in this particular career, right?
Yeah.
Now that we spoke about the salaries, now that we spoke about the money, let us touch base on your book, Mind Your Money. What inspired you to write this book and what is it all about?
Okay, thanks, Pata, for sharing that. And yeah, it is my privilege to share about my upcoming book. And yeah, Mind Your Money. I have actually got motivated to write this book because I have found out in the past years, like through the guidance of my mentors and co-mentors, and when I've undergone a process which has completely transformed my life, I have realized that it's very important that we have to build a right mindset before proceeding towards any journey. Like a journey with right mindset would actually take you to the achieve goals which you are looking for to your destination. And if the mindset is missing, then the path automatically becomes very difficult to move. So mind your money is something which is related to, like, I am passionate about personal finance basically. So I have also got certifications in personal finance in various like investments and risk and estate planning and taxation and all those things. But at the end, I have realized that even after getting the financial education, if the mindset is not right, then it's even if person knows everything, like if he's a CA, CFP, or whatever, he has to build a right mindset first and then deal with the money. And it actually applies to each and every single person living, because people, they are just chasing money but not concentrated on first building that mindset to actually handle their money in a proper way. And mind your money is all about, like, first building the right mindset and then to handle your money in a right way, which could actually create a lifelong lasting wealth for people. So it's all about wealth creation, like how people can create wealth for themselves through various financial tools, and how what is the first steps they have to take by getting by building the right mindset and uh, the right attitude towards their success.
That is really great to know. And when is this book coming up?
So yeah, so actually, this book was supposed to be launched in the previous year, November itself, but since there were a lot of transitions and some things were going on, so it actually got delayed. But now it will be available on Amazon and all the various platforms in April. So the
In
book will be
April.
launched
Okay.
in April.
It will be only available in London since now you are based out of London, or is it going to be available in India as well?
No, no, it will be there in India. It will be there in all the countries, because it will be launched in Amazon.in as well as Amazon.com. So anybody, like uh, people you are using Amazon, can buy it from anywhere around the world.
Great, great to know that, and all the best for your book. And thanks a lot for being here and sharing about a particular domain or industry where I think very less people understand the complete uh, the knowledge about how it operates, what are the different roles, and all of it. So you did it beautifully, and you brought some images also to help us understand. So thank you for being on
Thanks.
this particular show and helping all the people here. Before we end this show, do you have
Thanks, man.
any last piece of a note that you want to give to people?
Definitely. I would like to tell the people that whatever you want to do in life and whatever you want to achieve, so first of all, the very important thing is that you have to build a right mindset, and then you have to proceed towards your goals. Because if you don't build that kind of mindset, and if you are not passionate about doing that thing, then it's just consuming your time and you are just trading your time for money. So uh, I have also learned this thing, and I have realized after working for several years, and I want people also to realize as quickly as possible in their life, so that they can actually start their dream journey as soon as possible. So that would be my only advice to the people: that realize your passion, build that mindset, and just go and kill it, whatever you want to do.
Great. Thank you for that. And thanks everyone for watching us live. Some of them were also engaging, like Preeti, Susan, Milind, Anju, Miraj. Right. Thank you for being there online and also interacting. And also for people who were there online, plus also people who are going to watch us later on the recording. Thank you for doing that. And I'm sure like you're going to learn a lot about the Merchant Navy, the career. How do you build that career in Merchant Navy? So thank you. And until we bring up the next episode with our next guest who are going to share their knowledge and experiences. Stay safe, stay blessed, and have a great night. Thank you, Ankit, once again. Thanks,
Thanks a
everybody.
lot. Thanks a lot for that.